Hey, what's going on, Wealthy Legacy Journeyers? Welcome back to the Wealthy Legacy Journey. I'm your host, Kendall Liden, and the title of today's episode is Life at 100 Miles an Hour. I want to kick off by apologizing for not putting out a video last week. Why? Well, that's because we are living life at 100 miles an hour, it feels like, and it is crazy. We've got so many things happening, some good things, some hard things, as usual, because this is life. But we are building, we are entrepreneurs, we're on a growth path. But there are just difficulties that come with it. I want to start off with a verse that's encouraged me over the past 2 weeks, and I think it might encourage some of you guys too. But as for me, I shall sing of your strength. Yes, I shall joyfully sing of your loving kindness in the morning, for you have been my stronghold and a refuge in the day of my distress. Psalms 59:16. Man, as I was thinking on that verse, I was just looking back at all the things that God has gotten me through. Now, the specific things He's gotten me through are probably going to be different than the things that He's gotten you through, but God has gotten us through struggles. God's gotten me through a failed real estate tech partnership. He's gotten me through that happened years and years ago before the Wealthy Legacy journey and all that kind of stuff. Excuse me. God helped me through a flip called Bright, which is before the Wealthy Legacy journey. There was a flip called Gunnison again. That was near the beginning of my flip journey, well before the Wealthy Legacy journey. My Wealthy Legacy journey had started, right, but before this podcast, got me through the bot. It got me going through. God got me through going to $0 twice, and He'll get me through this season that we're in right now. Right now. Libby is facing the challenge of being a mom, doing art, and all of the spinning plates that she's carrying in life. And all of us, we all have to go through this hard of figuring out the process, overcoming our fear, overcoming the unknowns. It's been interesting as, I look back on the last year as we kind of get to the point where we're coming closer to wrapping up 2024. And I think about everything that we've been able to do, accomplish, try, succeed at, figure out the process, decide to sit on the, back burner, move things around, but we figured out eBay, we figured out the art, we figured out over the last few years, figured out flipping houses and flipping land and land development, and we're learning stocks, learning options, you're still learning the art. Every time we try something new, though, we have to overcome that fear of the unknown in order to reach the reward on the other side. So let God be your rock during this time, during this figuring out the unknown that you're going through. On real estate, just wrapped up the Trentman rehab. Santa Barbara rehab is going to be kicking off this next week, some this week and some next week. The main rehab starting next week. Got a lot of majors happening this week. Still working on the off-market agent program for the Ambition Group team. Super excited with how that's coming along. I would say that's probably about 70% of the way there. I've got to finish up the rest of the technical stuff, and then I got to make it look pretty and figure out the flow and get my timing down and all that kind of stuff. But it's coming along really great, and I'm excited for that program to be coming out. Exciting news for KL Cash Real Estate, and then some bummer news. We got Palestine under contract. Woohoo! And I was supposed to share that with you last week. And then this week, the deal fell through because of they were putting a mobile home on it, and the dude quoted him like 60 grand to get the dirt work done, to get the property ready for the mobile home. It does have a slight slope on the back of the property, but I don't think it's 60 grand worth of work, and my agent agreed. Plus, it's only we contracted at 30 grand, so a $30,000 lot with $60,000 dirt work never was going to make sense. And I think a part of it was that there was a dealer from DFW that was going all the way out to East Texas to the work because it was like their in-house dirt work guy. And so I think it was just I don't think the numbers were going to make sense because of that. So it was unfortunate that we had that deal. Libby and I were so excited about it, and then that deal fell through. But hey, that's like how life goes sometimes, and that's just a little bit more relatable. Uh, I have all these notes in there about like what our closing costs are going to be, what our profit was going to be, and it sucks to look at right now because I didn't edit these notes before I started recording this video. But those are gone now. We're gonna move on. It was cool. I received the offer on my birthday, so it felt like it's an awesome birthday present. And now it's just kind of a non-birthday present. Wah, wah, wah. Anyways, but it's just been interesting as I was, having success off of that deal, looking at it getting closed. I was thinking, okay, where should I put this money? Should I keep going? Should I go more real estate? Should I keep it 50-50? Should I continue, really focusing hard and heavy on the stocks? Like, Where should I be putting my time, energy, and attention? And I don't really have the answer to that question yet. But I can tell you that I've enjoyed a lot of the stuff going on inside of the stocks. So let's switch gears to the stock market. As far as sniping goes, on my birthday, I had a 95% loss in the stock market, but it allowed me to see a place where I was missing perspective of the market. I wasn't reading and watching and staying on top of the market internals as far as ad and tick and the VIX and volatility and the average market momentum and direction for that day. And so that burned me because I was bearish on the market pre-market, and then or no, I was bullish that day on the market pre-market, and the market just kept grinding against me. And I kept trying to buy on the dip at the low of the VP, and it just kept going against me, going against me, going against me. And obviously ended up having a massive loss that day. On the 24th, which would have probably been like Thursday, I had a 35% gain. On the 26th, I had a 15%, 45% gains. It was awesome. Ended up with just a 15% loss. So, hey, it was better than walking with a 100% loss from day one. But again, my note here is looking back, I forgot to monitor the market internals of ad, tick, VIX. And I used, these at the end of the week to come to directions, and I expanded my sniper helper tool. So as you guys know, one of the tools that I've been building is a sniper helper tool to help me scalp or snipe the market, however you want to say it. And that's been really helpful. So I used that, that week. I've used it this past week as well. This past week, I ended up coming away with profitability. I can't remember the exact figure. I do know that we just closed out October. Unfortunately, I was down like 735% for October, but hey, praise the Lord, it was paper money. And so I went into November with that number still written on the board from October, but I allowed myself to start fresh at zero for November. Currently up like 22.5% for November. I had a small base hit on Friday of 11%, decided to walk away. Had 11% gainer this morning as well, with all of the market chop coming into the elections happening tomorrow. I feel really excited about that because even one of my coaches actually lost money this morning. And so to be able to get an 11% gain in about an hour and a half after market open and walk away, I was happy with it. And the market has ended up just chopping the rest of the day. So I've glanced back at it a few times, and every time I've glanced back, just been so grateful. I was like, okay, I took the money that I needed to make and I walked. And the reason I picked $300 is I'm investing $3,000 at a time. Originally, the goal was to make 30% profit, which on a good day, I am able to make 30% profit, able to make $1,000, which is fantastic. So if I can make $1,000, a day, then, that puts me on track for about $250,000 a year. Right now, in my job, I'm making $70,000 a year, however. And so the logic of that is I make about $300 a day at my job. And so if I can at least make $300 a day in stock trading, I'm putting bread on my table. And for now, while I'm working both, I take that first hour and a half, I might do some stock stuff, and that pushes my whole day work day back, where I end up having to do real estate later into the day. But that's totally okay. But I'm basically doubling my salary, which is kind of an exciting thing as I'm building this skill set. So my goal still is to, through November and probably most, if not all of December, use that time to go back to break even. Once I can overcome that 735% down that I incurred during October, that's when I will know that I'm ready to actually put real money in the market. And we'll probably start off with about $3,000 I'm practicing with right now. And the hope is that can continue to grow that money. VMAS 4 has been really exciting. Continue to have base hits. Even last week with some market turbulence, we had some awesome winners off of the VMAS 4 system. One of the cool things that we're working on right now is codifying the VMAS 4 system. And so, I talked to my dad, who's my business partner on the stock market side, and I was like, hey, what would you think about, giving values and scales basically based on the pre-market sentiment of where we're at for each of the sectors. For a specific ticker inside of that sector, it has to reach so many points based on some type of scoring system. Points are given based on VP and moving averages that the price has reached. So the deeper, VP, so if it's like an annual VP might be worth more points than a weekly BP, right? Because it's a stronger point of support and resistance. And the same on the moving averages. Like a 100 moving average might be weighted more than a 8-day moving average. And so we're just playing with that system, what that would look like, and where it needs to get its points from would essentially come from the sectors. And so we look at the sector spiders and or the spider sector as S&P 500 sectors, and we look at, how are they weighted? How are each of them performing compared to each other on a 5-day, 1 month, and 3 month perspective, as well as looking at the chart. Looking at the chart, is it bullish? Is it bearish? And we have a couple different factors that we look at to determine whether it's bullish, bearish, or neutral. We use all that information to come together to create the idea would be a score, because generally at this point we're both picking where to buy at the exact same point. I just wanted to quantify and codify, why are we choosing to buy at that point? We both see it, but what is that we're seeing at that place? Why are we sometimes willing to buy, up at the 8 period moving average, and sometimes we buy all the way down at the 34 period moving average? What, makes us decide one over the other? And so this is going to help us. I generally understand why, but this is going to help us really codify it and create very specific, detailed rules. Because for me, especially after the bot, I'm always thinking, okay, if we can build a system that works, and we can build rules that are specific enough that an algorithm machine could copy and replicate what we're trying to do here, then that's something that we can put inside of an algorithm, and we can make up for all the time we put into the bot, and maybe create another program that works better than our initial algorithm. But we've got lots of skills and time put in there. I'd love to see a product put together on that front that would really work. As far as the cash flow, I guess you say War Room. War Room has, kind of been middle of the road, but there's been huge market volatility going on right now, and so I'll give those guys that. And but they've been really educating us really well on the market volatility, what to do with it, what to avoid, what to look into. So far this week we are up on the War Room, and I'm excited to continue to see how they navigate these waters during an election week. Cash Flow Academy. No real update on it, but it's been great training. So that's just training. I'm not even paper trading what we're going through there. I'm just more of soaking up the knowledge as I go into that every day, or every week, excuse me. With D-Man, he's put out some great information. Donald Williams, you can follow him on Substack. I just read one of his most recent Substacks on seasonality and trading seasonality. And so I'm at a point right now where my portfolio is not to a place where I'm ready to start allocating capital for seasonal trades that are going to carry over, several weeks, if even a couple months. But he does have some really interesting stuff. I'm trying to soak that up because I know that the further I get, especially as I know I'll be able to start making some money here on sniping, taking those extra resources, putting them into those long-term seasonal trades, and as that account balance grows, being able to diversify and do more and more types of trades, because obviously there's only so much liquidity that's created in like a 30-second window in order for me to be able to purchase. And even now, there's been some moments where I've struggled to get liquidity at the price point that I'm looking to buy at, in the sniping stuff. But at other times it's not a problem at all. There's tons and tons of contracts happening at every single level. So it's interesting. With Libby's art, huge update. She just had a fair. I am so proud of her. Libby's a freaking rock star. She crushed it this last weekend at the fair. This is her last fair of the year. Libby and I were just praying for a breakthrough. We're praying for Libby to be able to be a blessing on the way to her blessing. We're praying for her to have favor among men, and she absolutely crushed it. She put together some great products. She put together a great presentation. Her booth looked amazing. We spent about 2 hours creating a sales script for her, and she did a really great job nailing that sales script. I'm so proud of her. And through her sales that she did on Facebook and she did at the fair, she got within like $18 of break even. And then over and above that, oh, that's like break even on the whole venture. It was over like 1,000. I think we put about $1,000 into it at this point. So she's made her $1,000 back, which was super exciting. And then she had somebody put in a custom order for Libby's about to quote him back, but she's going to do this order for $400. And so as long as she can get everything worked out, she'll have that order. And that's, I would say Libby's off to the races at this point to get back above break even. Now she's going to be up about 140% on her costs. Man, I can't even just words can't even say how excited I am for the goal for 2024 was, hey, we don't really need this money right now, but we might need it going into 2025. I don't know what my job situation looks like, so let's get ahead of the curve. Can this even make money? And so this really answered the question for us. Yes, this can make money. There wasn't even a ton of foot traffic at this farmer's market that she was at. There was good foot traffic, but it just wasn't a ton of foot traffic. And so now she's looking at, probably going to do fairs in bigger cities such as Burleson, Crowley, Fort Worth, some of the other, maybe venturing over into the Dallas side of things, but being a part of some bigger events where she could have a larger foot traffic coming to see her art. And then also looking at how can she make her art more practical. So she has prints. She did some greeting cards this time around, and she did stickers for the first time ever. Considering for the next fair, moving into also getting some towels to put some of her beautiful artwork on. But again, she absolutely crushed it. Another thing that we're excited about is that Libby found somebody to edit the background out of her artwork. And so a couple weeks ago, I was telling you guys that I was spending hours and hours, and Libby was spending hours and hours editing these pieces of art. We found somebody that's editing the background out for $1 per art piece, and I'm kicking myself. I don't know if I'm kicking myself because I knew that these people were out there, and I don't know why I didn't reach out to them sooner, or if I don't know. That's probably why I'm kicking myself, to be honest with you. Like, I knew that there were people out there who would do this for cheap. I didn't realize how cheap, but $1 an art piece, I mean, that's just a really good deal that Libby can afford. And it's not going to, damage the margins of her business. In fact, it's going to allow her a lot more brain capacity and time to put towards just creating the art and building her process and building her business. And so I'm so excited for her first outsourcing of her business, but also finding a way to do it very cost effectively. She's not paying somebody, $50 per art piece, where her break even on per art piece is way high. Her break even, per art piece, if she puts about $2 into it or 2 hours into it, excuse me, and she values her time at roughly $20 an hour. I'm trying to get her to bump that up, but that's where she put her price tag on it. She puts about $40 worth of time into it. And she's paying somebody about $1 to edit each piece of art. So all in, she's about $41 plus the cost of the prints, which we're looking at for this next year. If we end up getting our own printer, we can significantly reduce the cost of the printers by $1,000. But if we have a printer, we can take the cost of prints, for example, like an 8x10 print, I think is costing like $2.50 right now to print. We'd be able to take that cost down to about 10 cents per print. And so significantly opening up the margins on the art pieces themselves. So instead of having to charge more, you can just get the costs down. And then also, as she does continue to improve in her skill sets as an artist, she can open up the margins by increasing the costs or by increasing what she charges as well. All that improving the bottom line. And so, Libby's got a really great head on her shoulders. I'm so excited for her. I'm so proud of her. And so I just wanted to take a little bit of time to brag on her. And we're really excited to see what 2025 can hold for the stocks, possibly some stuff for the tax sales and the real estate. What does it hold for me in the job? And what does it hold for Libby's art? But you know, something I would say, and this was supposed to be said last week, but as I wrap up, don't forget in November to be paying your guys' self first. Like the first thing I did at the first of November was pay myself first. And our cash flow for this month was, let's see what it was. It was like 900 and something dollars. We had a couple of life expenses, like true life expenses that came up. So decreased our it decreased our cash flow a little bit here, but let's see. So jump over to November here. So we had $954.45 going to our investment fund, and then we had $106.05 going to our fund money. And so just really excited about where we're at right now. Pay yourself first. So I actually had it right here. We have $5,384.60 of income. $538.46 of that went to Ty. That was the first thing that we paid for. The second thing that we paid for was $954.45 went to the investment fund. And then the third thing that we paid for was $106.05 going to fund money. And the rest of everything was paid out. Now, we did allocate our budget ahead of time. But again, as you guys have been watching me for like the last year, more than a year, maybe even, it's been crazy. Everything that we've been doing is about getting our costs down so we can get our cash flow up. and it's paying off in dividends. Like I'm so excited about where we're at right now. One of the last things that I'll say is Libby and I have been looking to 2025 from a very difficult, tough, and tiring 2024. I think both of us are excited because I would say that the theme of 2024 has been pushing down our expenses, pushing down our lifestyle, pushing down, our free time, push everything's been like down so that way we can expand what we're trying to do in the future. And I'm really excited because some of the fruits that we're seeing here as we're coming near the end of 2024, both of us are really confident that 2025 is going to be a year of pushing up as we have outward expansion. We believe we're going to have outward expansion in the stocks, outward expansion in some of these real estate deals that we've been waiting on to close and come to fruition, outward expansion on Libby's art. And one of our goals is we'd actually love to be able to do like a weekend away every month in the year of 2025 just to make up for all of the work and hard labor that we're putting into what we're doing right now. That if Libby and I could get a 2 day getaway every month. Something cheap and inexpensive, but just some time away for the two of us to get away from the grind of all the different fronts that we're pushing on. It would help us to be better, parents. It would help us to be better at the stocks. It'd be help us to be better investors. It would help us to be, Libby to be better in our art, and just for us to be sharp. And ready. And so I say that in a way of it's been a really hard, Libby and I looked back on it and really started kind of getting hard. Oh, what was the timeline? It was somewhere around like mid 20 or maybe like end like somewhere it was like end of 2022 or something like that. I can't remember the exact it was mid 2023 that I got my job. But it was Man, it was before that the stuff started kind of going downhill. I want to say it was like even the Christmas before. So we're coming up on something like the 2 year mark, from like when times were like really, really good to like things started getting difficult. And then after things started getting difficult, we realized I had to make a change and I had to get a job. And then we realized we needed to make a change in our finances. We started cutting some of our lifestyle. Then we realized we needed to make a change. So we started cutting our budget even deeper. And then we changed and started getting rid of farm animals. And then we changed and we sold our house, moved into a fifth. So wow, it's been like a lot of hard change. But we're starting to really see the fruits of the labor. We're starting to see breakthrough from all the hard that we've gone through, all the hard that we're doing. So I would tell you that even though it's exuberantly painful and it might feel like it's going to last forever, sometimes it does not last forever. And you will eventually start hitting that point where you will see the fruits from the labors that you've been doing. So, I would just remind you guys, would encourage you guys, make sure that y'all are planting the right seeds, cultivating the right trees, so eventually you'll be able to bear the fruit that you want to bear. It might take 6 months, it might take 12 months, it might take 2 years. I've been investing now for in like 2 weeks or 1 week or something like that. It'll be my 6 year anniversary in investing. So I've been, pushing forward on this for 6 years, and we've had some good moments and we've had some tough moments, and we're continuing to move forward, looking for that, ultimate stability. But don't give up. Don't quit. Keep pushing forward. Keep doing the right things. Keep planting the seeds that should and eventually will bear the fruit that you're looking for. And if you keep planting them and you keep taking care of them and you keep cultivating them and you keep praying over them and praying for the rain, eventually get that fruit that you're looking for. With that said, guys, let's close out today's episode with our identity mantra. I explore the unknown. I conquer new frontiers. My journey is powerful and my wake is a wealthy legacy. And as a reminder, guys, the way we define wealth here at the Wealthy Legacy Journey is simply the ability to cover your monthly expenses without having to lift a finger. It is passive investment cash flow. That's where I'm going. That's where I hope you guys are going. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no doubts in my mind. That is exactly where I'm going to. Legacy is leaving a long lasting impact on others as they come after you, as they receive the fruit of your labor, whether that fruit be good or bad. But as we just said, the way that you leave good fruit is by cultivating good trees. The way that you get good trees to cultivate is by planting good seeds. So the legacy that you leave behind is all about the seeds you're planting right now. With all I said, guys, if you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps. Subscribe. It really helps the algorithm. And as a reminder, down in the description of the video, there's links to a couple different cool things: the Wealthy Legacy Journey resources page, the Wealth Health Checkup, and some other really cool stuff. So make sure that you guys go check that out. And with all that said, this has been another episode dedicated to you and your own personal wealthy legacy journey. So it was awesome hanging out with you guys. Now go out there this week and take the right next steps. And with all that, I cannot wait to hear about your success stories. Make sure that you direct message me. Make sure that you let me know in the comments. Make sure you guys are keeping me updated with how this show is encouraging you and helping you get to that next level. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye, everybody.